go. All right, welcome to our live instructional webinars designed to support the Memory Book Online Yearbook program. Today, we will be focusing on functions that relate to building activity or candid pages. Specifically, we're going to be going over, we're going to start by reviewing the page bleeds and margins, just to know your boundaries and where to stay within a page. Then we're going to go across our toolbar, kind of give you, what's under these menus, going down, kind of give you a quick what's under the hood, kind of a look there. And then we're going to go through and just actually build a page throughout that, after that kind of initial on doing, candid activity pages. So we'll look at design functions, we'll look at templates, then we'll kind of look at some backgrounds and themes. So this one may run closer to about 45 minutes. It can, even with the question and answering, go up to an hour. Now we are recording this, so if you guys have other engagements, other events going on, have to take off early, we got you covered. We're recording this, and then tomorrow we're going to post what was recorded yesterday on Tuesday, and then we're going to record today's, both of those tomorrow, and get those links out to everybody. Okay, so looking at one of our pages here, just off the get-go, first thing that we like to cover is going on what are bleeds and margins. So in the term of bleeds, and well, at least in the terms of printing, bleed essentially just means full color that extends beyond the edge of the page. So just to kind of demonstrate with this little purple square here, if I push this all the way out, we'll kind of notice it goes into this lighter kind of gray area that's around. And this is our bleed area that's on the page. So that's extending beyond the edge here, and this is the bleed area. Now when looking kind of more in, we got a couple of sets of lines here. We have our trim line and our margin line. So really this is an estimated trim line. So anything that's right here into the bleed area, this is what's estimated to be trimmed off. Now, when we say estimated, why we say that's estimated here is there could be a variance of up to 1/8 of an inch during production. Factors that kind of play into that are how many sheets of paper, I guess, are being cut, what's being trimmed, how's that trimming, how's the trimmer running that day? Does it have a fresh blade on it, or is it the operator, different operator? All little factors. So that's why this is just an estimated trim here. But anything past this is what's estimated to be trimmed off, and this is the bleed. Now, why you want certain, either you can have photos bleeding off the edge in the program, you'll have backgrounds that bleed off to the edge. And why you'll want that, or why that is important, is when your page is going to get trimmed, having that extend beyond, when your page goes to get trimmed, you'll have a nice flush color across there. And that way it just doesn't leave any edging. That way you don't see any kind of paper edging that is right there. So moving in and talking about these. So yes, this is our estimated trim line. Again, there could be up to 1/8 inch variance there during trimming. Now this blue line here, kind of with the grid here, this is your inside page margins. This is your safe area. This is where you're going to want to keep all important text and photos, unless you're bleeding certain photos. We're going to show you here that in just a second. Now anything's guaranteed to be safe from trimming in this area, and also not kind of really getting lost. Can I pull that over a little bit? There we go. Pull it, kind of getting into the gutter of the book, or the binding area. All right, so that's kind of goes over those three. Now one thing about when you're placing images on a page, because when you're building candid or activity pages, we have tons of templates that you could use, kind of have everything kind of nice, neat, and in order. You can actually just make true traditional collage pages just by dragging and dropping your images over to a page, and then kind of sizing them and resizing them to your liking there around. But when placing images, you'll notice that when you place, so if you try to place something out in between these two lines, it'll do one or two things. It'll either pop it all the way out to the bleed, or if you try to nudge it in, it's gonna drop it in here. The program is not gonna allow you to rest anything or place anything between the margin and the trim line. It's gonna push it one way or the other. So I just want to give you that heads up there when making collage pages. Um, so um, touching more on bleed and what we're kind of looking for, I'm going to bring these couple of guys up here. If you are making candid collage pages, and when you're dropping photos onto a page to bleed, you might just see what kind of photo you have to work with. How much empty space do you have around, either the top or the sides or the bottom? So if you're making a collage page when you're checking out your photos, just to take this photo for example, it's got decent kind of empty space along the sides of the boys here, but not across the top here. So when building a collage page, this photo would work really well, to the outside edge, empty fan. If we move in a little bit, it works well on the inside. They're still within the margins here. Where this doesn't, and it also works down across the bottom. Where this particular, if you have images like this, are probably not the best to place is into the bleed. So now we're already the photo is at the top, so now we're even taking more. And with an estimated trim, if it does by chance fall off, or fall short or come in a little more, it could take just a little bit more off. And usually that's kind of something we kind of hope doesn't happen in printing and that. We don't like to see any more kind of get cut away that needs to be, or on, the parts of someone's face or anything like that. So just as a heads up when looking at your images, see if you're making a collage page that goes out to the bleed, just keep an eye on your empty space and just kind of look at areas where that photo might work the best. So from here, kind of wrapping up on bleeds and margins here, we're now going to transition and just kind of go over some of the menus here and kind of the shortcuts where you see on those bars. I'm going to zoom in on my browser here. That way we can see these a little bit better. All right. So zoomed in here, we're just going to go down kind of quickly here. So under file, under files where you're going to find things like save and save as template. So just normal page save. Now normal page save is also this kind of disk, 3.5 kind of floppy disk image that is there. So this is just your quick shortcut save. Also under here, this is where you can pull up things like page info, just about the page, just kind of who is it assigned to or anything like that. Go back under here, this is where we can view proof. View proof is basically like a PDF proof that you can create a page. This is also a shortcut in this little preview page, little printer button that's up at the top here. And so that's kind of what we have there under file, just kind of your basic saves that are there. Moving over under edit, this is where you're going to find your undo and redo. And we've got shortcuts off to the side here, little curved arrows here on the board. We also have your standard cut, copy, paste, and delete. Now, if you're also familiar with keyboard shortcuts, Control C to copy, Control V as in Victor to paste. And now if you're on a Mac, it's the Command C, Command V in there. We have delete. Also under edit, we have change background, and I'm just going to pull this up real quick. It's a menu that we have for changing out and working with your backgrounds. We're going to come back to that a little bit later, but I wanted to go ahead and just kind of point that out now. It's a really handy tool across, when you're kind of building candid activity pages or any pages that have backgrounds. Some text options under edit, you have find and replace, and you have spelling. Now your spelling in our program, not as robust as what you would see in like Microsoft Outlook or Word. It's looking for actually misspelled words, but it's not looking for grammar usage or anything like that. So definitely if you've got pages of importance or teacher letters or dedications or anything of that nature, um, run spell check on it to catch any misspelled words, but definitely have some eyes over, still kind of give it a good read, just because like I said, it's not catching grammar or stuff like that. One of the last few things down under here, under select, this is where we have our select options for if you want to grab everything, do select all. If you want to just work with the images on the page, say you want to do format all the images of a particular page at once to have the same thing, like a stroke or border or drop shadow. You want to select them all in one swoop. There you go, you just hit images. Same kind of goes for text boxes, shapes. If you're wanting to quickly find out what is incomplete on your page, you can do an edit select incomplete. This is going to grab things like unedited text boxes or empty photo boxes on the page. Locked elements, this will show you any locked element you might have on the page, or if you're looking for a particular color or font. Moving over to view, we've got right up the top, hide rulers, hide page margins. We usually leave those two alone. Always kind of keep them showing. If you work with grids and guides, so on the grids, you want to hide grid lines. We have that option. They're right here. Now, hiding your grid, there's a shortcut for that as well. In the bottom right of our designer here, there's a little 2-button toggle, and this little bottom button of it, if you just click on it, it's just a toggle to turn those grids on and off. Now, if you're wanting to kind of keep things aligned at a certain level, you want to work with grids or work with guides. All you have to do to bring a guideline onto a page is click and hold in the ruler menu and just drag those down. And that way you can kind of set a line here that you want to bring items up to. So if you want, that's horizontal. If you bring down from the top, if you want vertical, just bring those over from the side. Use those. Then after a certain point, if you then just didn't want any of those guides to go, you'd hide them. Maybe you just want to hide them for a little bit, so you can hide the guides. This would then change to show guides. So here I'll do that. I'll hide them. And now if I come back to grids and guides, I click on it again, just uncheck it. Now if I want to get rid of them all together, go back to view, grids and guides, we could just clear. Now maybe we want to clear everything, or maybe we just want to clear off the row or column that are there. Also under view, this is where you have your zoom out, zoom in and fit and window. These zoom options are also a shortcut here on the top toolbar. So if you go over here, this little plus, minus, and the drop down, so you can just kind of quickly kind of zoom out, zoom back in, or maybe you want to fit everything into the window, just hit fit to page. That's there. Next, this is also, now when we're looking at our pages, except for the first page in the book, when you open up the program, you're looking at page 1. No, that's not your cover. That's after you open the cover, that page 1 that is there, that is page 1 of your book. Now, that page and the last page will, by default, are the only ones that will show singly. After that, everything is then showing in facing pages or in spreads, 2, 3 together, 4, 5 together, and so on. Now, when working on the book, a lot of times, a lot of people, if you're the only one working on your book, or maybe you just have a few, but you've separated, like, I'm going to take this spread, or if you're already planning working in spreads, that works well. Now, where it may come to where you might want to switch to single pages is this comes in handy if you're an advisor that has a yearbook group. You have multiple students working, and maybe there's a situation where you're not able to assign the same student to both pages. Maybe you have a student one of the students is assigned to the left, the other is to the right. Um, well, if they go to work on it at the same time, if they both have it open in the facing page or spread view, this could create a save conflict to where whoever saves first, their save changes will be honored to the page, whereas the student that saved second or save second or later, they would then get a message that they would have to save their work as a template and then reapply it at a later time, which is not it's not a bad thing, but it could get frustrating to those not sure what's going on. So in a situation where you have one student assigned to one side and a different on the other, set it to single page. Yeah, I'm going to save that real quick. But if you set it and save it to a single page, and then have both of the people um, set to single page, then you won't have any save conflicts in that point because basically you're working on this page and it's not connected to the other one at this point while it's in single page mode. So just want to throw that out there about page view, but most of the time just going to keep facing pages. But if you want to work on them singly, or definitely this comes in handy if you have multiple students working in the book and you have that situation where you have two different people or students assigned to the same spread. All right, arrangement under this. This is where you'll have your lock and unlock items. This is also, if I select this again, this little padlock here, this is a shortcut for locking and unlocking items. You just lock it down, the lock symbol there. Just click to unlock that. Now you can move it freely again. Group and ungroup. So if you have multiple things highlighted, you want to move them around. Say I've got these three. So you go to group, click it this way. Now we also have a shortcut over here on the top toolbar. So we'll just click on group. And you'll notice that things that are grouped in the program will be shown with little dash lines around them here. Now to ungroup it, that option is here under arrange as well, but we do also have the ungroup button here. So I'll just ungroup them there. So after the, I'm going to put those three back here together. So under arrange, now that I got a few items highlighted, we'll see that we have different alignment categories show up here. So align horizontally. This is going to work more, actually, let me highlight coming down here. Align horizontally works well with columns. So you can align things to the left or to their centers or to the right. Now these three options, align horizontally, your alignment and arrangement, all of these are going to be under this drop down as well. This little, where it has like the three stacked pieces of paper. So it's basically your layers tab that's here, but it's arrangement. You can unpin this to move it around. That way you can kind of see stuff a little bit better. Now looking down at your alignment, here we have our align left, center, and right. So that works for columns. If we go back under arrange vertically, you got your top, bottom, or top, middle, bottom, and those are over here on this menu as well for top, middle, and bottom. All right, so let me highlight, just kind of do one. I'll do align left here. That kind of pulled everything. Highlight these and I'll align the tops. But yeah, you can highlight two items here to kind of align them and do that. Now working with arrangement, let's bring some stuff over here. We do have the arrange. So actually I'm going to just highlight one of those. So arrangement, this will help on like if you're doing collage pages and you're doing some layering in that. Maybe you want to tuck the corner of one image behind another or bring another one above. So under arrange, this is where you have four options. You have bring to front, bring forward, send it back, send backward. Now, depending on the placement of that image or that, that item, that element on page, you may only have just only certain uh, options available to you, because something's on the very top, your bring forward, bring to front are going to gray out because it's already there. But what we can do here is kind of change this. We're going to send that backwards. We can leave that one as it is, come over here to this one, do bring forward. So we just kind of change the order of that using the arrangement tools. But just, you're able to get to it both places, from the arrange drop down, or from this little, here I'm going to X that out, or from this little arrange drop down here, which is another little menu you can unpin and move around, and that way you can work with your items a little bit better and not cover anything else. Okay, and that, there's some other kind of neat things that are in here that kind of flip and rotate some stuff. These options like flip and arrange, rotate left, rotate, flip, those are under that arrange drop down as well. All right, so let's kind of start kind of building some pages here. I'm going to clear, so you know what, I'm going to save my changes to come back to that and show the, as we're going along, just one thing we'll kind of keep in mind, while you're working in the book or while working on the job, being an internet type-based job that you're working on, after you do a few things, make sure to go up and hit save. The only thing that has a manual save in the or an automatic save in the program is the flow function that we referred to in our last webinar when building your class pages. But outside of that, any other page creation, you'll need to make sure you're saving often, and just that way your progress is there for the next time that you come back. So I got that saved. So I'm going to clear everything off. So building candid activity page. So what I'm kind of do today, I'm going to make kind of a, it's a winter, kind of a winter page here. Just kind of do like a winter fun, since we're in that time of season here. So the first thing, kind of building an activity page, I'm actually going to zoom the browser back down here, and going to bring fit my page here. Okay, so now that we've gone through that, just kind of going quickly through here, we've got our Pages tab. This is going to allow you to navigate through the different pages, just much like your page ladder. That way you don't have to leave the designer here to access another page. Just come to the Pages tab, and you'll be able to get to where you need. Oh, I actually just meant to stay. Okay. Now next under Pages, we have the Designs tab. The Designs tab is where you're going to find all of our pre-made templates that are here. Now, when working with candid activity pages, the best templates for those are going to be under Page Surfer. So you'll go under Designs, and then you'll go under Page Surfer. And then under Page Surfer, you see that there are 6 other categories. There's Candids, Clubs and Organizations, Gallery, Openings and Dividers, Sports, and Student Life and Academics. All of these categories so contain great kind of usage, and they can contain templates for just candid and activity pages. Now, kind of where to start, it just kind of depends on what kind of page you're looking for. What kind of a candid page do you want to do? Kind of start off with, if you're looking for, if you want the page to be kind of more basic, not much to it, the Candids folder is a good place to look. The Candids folder houses some of our more basic candid and activity templates that are here. Some are just photo boxes. Some, like here, I'll drag and drop one over. That's how we apply templates here in the program. Do you want to retain existing content in the new template? I usually hit no. That way it overwrites what's on the page with the template that you're trying to bring on. So here got a template, just has this many photo, has a certain amount of photo boxes, and looks like these also contain a stroke. Um, Now some are just basic like that. If we bring something else on, do you want to retain? Nope. This one has a little other formatting, some dots, has a little headline text in it. So we can write a headline in there. Have a different style here that uses some lines. And I'm gonna start with this here. So I'm gonna hit save. So we're gonna save. I'm just gonna save a little bit, and all the saving is gonna come back in the end and kind of show you how that comes into play. Um, so we've gone from designs. Now we got under candids. Now if you're looking for something a little more, maybe you're doing some sports pages. Maybe you need a design that's a little more complex. Now all of these templates, nothing is really set in stone, so you can, once you bring them on, you can modify them, do whatever. So here's kind of a neat one that has some spots area. Maybe you want to tell how they did that season. Maybe there's a player bio. If you're looking to do a sports page, there are just lots of different things in here. And just because you find something under one category, like maybe you didn't want, the score. Maybe you like this template, it'll work for something else. Oop, undo. Maybe you just don't want the scoreboard here. Well, I can take, if you select it, you can just hit your delete key and remove that. And you're like, well, maybe I don't want that color there. Is that a color? Oh, it's another shape that was kind of off to the side there. Um, okay, don't want that at all. But I do want to take this stuff and kind of make it bigger or something. Maybe this would work well for a group photo or something on a class or a clubs page or something like that. So just to kind of show you, with some of our things, you can take our templates and you can modify them. Um, if you want to add parts to them or take away, if you're coming through, looking at the other tabs that are here, under the art tab, this is where you're going to find image frames. So these are image frames, these are photo boxes. So maybe you wanted to put another little small photo up here at the top or something. You could do that. Or maybe you wanted another text box up here. You could go to text. Now with text, what these are that you're here, text is what on the side is, these are what we call styles. Now if the styles, these are just how text boxes start when they're dropped on the page. That's their starting style. But once on their page, and I'll show you here, I can bring body copy over, and that's probably hard to see. So I'm going to zoom in on the page here. So body copy starts kind of a smaller style here compared to if I bring headline over. Headline's kind of thicker. But once they're on the page, and you'll kind of notice when you're working on a page, there's a toolbar here that appears and disappears, but it appears and disappears depending on what type of element you have selected on the page. But if I click on my text again, so we brought over headline, and then we brought over another, it was body copy. Now, like I said, these are just how these start. So once they're on the page, and this toolbar that pops up above the page, the contextual toolbar, we could change to any font that we have added to our font collection. And I'm going to change that to something else here, make that box. But also I can change the size here on that as well. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're looking for templates here, that while it may be, certain things under one category may not, you wouldn't think would work for something else, there's a lot of options out there. And with any of our templates, no part of the template is set in stone. They're kind of, they're nice that you can modify these and you can kind of make them your own on this. Actually, I want to center that real quick. So center that, my heading. So now I got a headline on here. And, that's kind of a neat page. Maybe I want to save that for later usage. So if you want to save a page as a template, like we showed you, we're just going to go to File, and we're going to do Save as Template. When we do this, we get a prompt, and we're going to name the page, whatever that may refer to. Maybe you just want to do candid page or bio page or group page. Let's just do group page or groups. It is groups or club. Now from here, depending on the layout you did, are you saving, you can save just the left side, the right side, or in this case, both. Actually on this one, I'm just gonna do the right page. I'm gonna save that. All right, now, anytime that you create or you modify, or maybe you make your own, because you can just bring elements to a page and make your own too. But anytime you save, do a file, save as template, you're saving your own template, those will show up. We're going to go back under designs. Now, anything that you create or modify and save, these will then show up under custom, and they're going to show up under my templates. And here we got our groups or clubs page. I'm just going to drag and drop it over here real quick. Nope. Now, one thing about when you're doing templates, or if you're doing if you create it on one side and bring it to the other, and this is just kind of what I wanted to point out here real quick. If you take a right to a left or left to a right, it will flip and mirror it there. So what you can do, kind of a neat little thing that's under arrange, I'm going to save my changes. I'm actually going to go to view and single page, and page 10, this is the side I did want to be on, but we can go under arrange, and let's see, was it this one? Yes, okay. So do that arrange and then do the mirror, and I did mirror horizontally, which basically it kind of flipped it back there for us. Now I'm going to save. And go back to facing. So now that you have, instead of something that is mirrored, you now have the same layout. Now what we would do in a situation like this, if you did have to kind of mirror it, you have a right, it's always kind of best to go back. You might do, a save as template. Let's say groups or clubs left, just kind of name it. And that way you've got both sides in there. And that way you don't have to keep on throughout the book. Change them back to single page, do the flip mirror. That way it's kind of saves some time on yourself. That way you just have to do that once. All right, so from here, let's kind of do some other things on, we've got a template on our page. Let's start adding some photos and doing some other stuff to it. I'm gonna take out this. Now, if your images, you're going to bring those over from your images tab into all the different folders that you created there. So when bringing images, filling in a page, you're just going to do drag and drop. So you notice a couple things. That photo. Okay, I was checking to see why that didn't light up. That's because that photo box is behind a keep sending it backward until I can, there we go, I can select it. So sometimes even on our own templates, you may have to use that arrange tool to kind of get to certain elements that are there. But when you're bringing stuff over, you'll notice a couple of colors that are land here. So if you bring a photo over, if your photo box turns green or greenish, you know that that image has high enough resolution to fill that space. So it meets, it's large enough to hit both the width and the height here. Now on this bottom one, we'll notice it's turning red. That's letting us know that this image will not work in this spot. It's could be overall size of the photo that just won't work, or maybe it's the orientation of the photo. Maybe this photo may have the height, but it doesn't have the width in this case. So the program's not going to let you drop it here. So we can still drop it in this little tiny one here. Oh, now when that placed, that you notice that did kind of place kind of where you're not seeing the kiddo too much there. So what you saw me do real quick, I double clicked on the photo. So you do one or two things to access crop. One, if you select it in the toolbar that pops up above the page, you've got the crop option to bring that in. A shortcut for that, for cropping images while you're on page, is just to double click on the photo. So double click. From here, you can then, if you grab the photo, you can move it up and down. Now, if you need to enlarge it more, you can grab the little yellow handles. Bring that in so we can see the guy more. There we go. So that's nice. And then just kind of click out anywhere to kind of close it when you're done there. But yeah, just wanted to show you that one. It's kind of a lot that people ask when they're dropping them in is, well, it dropped in, but it left parts off. And that's just because, well, this photo is really long, this is square, but you can use the crop to kind of adjust the position in there. Okay, that one won't work. Now, another thing about these, when you go, if your image does turn red, or your image frame turns red, letting you know that, this image is not going to work there. If you still, like, let's say you still let go of the image, though, to place it, now the program will then place that image in its own photo box on top of the other one. So this isn't just free floating in a box. It's just the program put it in its own box on top of that. Now, if we start to stretch this out, eventually you're going to get to a point where you can't stretch that out anymore. So you'll then get a message, image has reached maximum size required to maintain print quality. It's just letting you know that the program is not going to allow that image to be enlarged beyond its actual printing resolution. So the program's keeping that image from being distorted or blurred or anything like that further. So it's just keeping it that way. That way you're not getting something that could be something for embarrassment. If it's really pixely and blurry or anything like that. And also it's just keeping it from just bad quality printing, which is nice. But just because an image may not hit the full size, well, it doesn't work on a page like this. These are some things to keep in mind. Maybe this works well on one of those little collage pages where you're tucking in a lot of photos. It just doesn't, then it just gets lost in the crowd there. So if we take all this, let's just take that out and we just start dropping images on. Oh, if you've used an image before, you'll get this duplicate image message here. Photo view just placed. It's used on other pages. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, and that way it places it, and I can kind of show you that there. So you can then toss this. So now where it wouldn't work on this, now if it's amongst a page that has just tons of other ones over there, It kind of blends in, works real nice on that. So just some things to keep in when you're collecting images and that. Um, that may also help you determine what layouts you pick on a page, or kind of help with gathering numbers. Maybe you're looking through the templates. Maybe you pick your template first and know, okay, I need to gather at least 10 to 15 photos for this event. Um, but then if you grab those 10 or 15 photos and let's say, oh, this template's not working out, well, maybe it might kind of think, okay, what photos size well on this page? Maybe I can take the template out and kind of rearrange and size and still have this photo included, still have all my photos, um, just without the template that's there. Okay, so we got a headline that's here. Make that a little bit larger. Need to make it way larger. There we go. Okay. All right, so we got some photos in. Let's see. Here we go. Bring them down. Let me keep it there so I can still see some cake there. All right, so we've got photos in. So now we've got the base. We've got a headline here. We've got a few photos in on our candid page here. We've got text in. So really at this moment, we are at the bare basics. We've just got photos in, but we've done no formatting or backgrounds or anything like that. So I'm gonna hit this. This is a good point. This is a good point to save here. And that way you can kind of test some formatting, but I can always come back to it. So on formatting, what we mean like that, so if you select a photo, this toolbar that pops up above the page here gives you different photo editing. So some off the bat, some things you can do. These first drop downs, this will allow you to apply a stroke to your image, and a stroke is just a simple line border that wraps around your photo. If I select this shape over here, I can do the same with shapes. Add a little small there. On my text boxes, there are some different options that are here though. So text boxes, with it selected, you can first drop down, you can change your font style that is there. If you see a red X in a text box, that's just letting you know that not all the type is showing. If you adjust the box a little bit, usually it gets all that type to show. And I'm going to put that back to something a little more readable here. And I think I'll just go back to what I had. I like better. I don't have that many installed here. So I'll do that. Okay, so we don't really have a style on that anymore. So we got the drop down for size, and now we have the drop down for color. Okay, so of color, so if we bring this down, I'm going to unpin this here. Now when you're looking at the color options for a text box, you've got 4 different buttons up at the top here. The first one that is selected, or when you come into it, the one that will be selected is the text fill. This is the text color itself here. So we can change, just to quickly show you, I change that to orange since this was already used on the page. Take that back to black here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it orange. Then to show you the next one is text stroke. Now what stroke is, the stroke, much like your photos stroke, a little simple line border, this puts a little lined border around your text. So I'm going to actually put that as black here. And I tell you what, let's zoom in there. There we go. That way you can see this process a little better. Okay, so I have a text fill of orange, or orange, red, lava, it says. Text stroke black here. So the A's, these are just working with your text. Now, if you want to work with the box, the text box itself, that's where we have these two other buttons. So then if I want to do um, shape fill, so shape fill is going to color the inside of the box here. And what's something bright? Something really contrasting here. So there we go. Sorry about that. Let's pick something else. That's a little bright. That's a little more soothing there. Okay, so this takes care of the fill on the first shape. Now on shape stroke, if we go under here, this is actually just going to put the outline across the outside of the box. Now, some other things when it comes to formatting with text is if you have, if we're looking some other text options, you've got your bold, italics, underline, if it's available for that. Now, format and effects, right here, we can kind of make it transparent in that. But the one I was looking for more is drop shadow. So if we do drop shadow, we can select color here. Now with drop shadow, the shadow will apply if you've got a fill to the box. The drop shadow is going to apply to the whole box. If you want the shadow to apply just to the text part, here's where we'll need to take our shape stroke and our straight fill and change it back to none. And then that way we'll have some drop shadow on our heading there. And with that heading, you can kind of change where that kind of leans to, the angle of that, change your lighting position, how dark you want it, a little light, blur that out a little bit or make it real crisp. So just wanted to kind of show that with the text there. So again, when working with it, you first come in always doing the text fill, and then you can play with the other ones. And then just determining, if the drop shadow will apply differently depending on if you have a fill on the box or not. So some kind of neat stuff there. All right, so we've gone over some photo things. We've gone over text and formatting. So let's say that actually we're making a winter page here. So I'm going to change this up. I'll start it there. We'll start with a blue here. I'm going to change stuff to these colors to blue here. That way, kind of a light blue. All right. So let's say that we've got through. Now we've gotten to the point. I see we got. Oh, we got 10 minutes here before 4. So what I'm going to do, we're at the point where to finish things off, we're just going to toss a background on a page, and I'll show you a couple. From the art tab, if you go under the art tab and you go under background, let's see, I had a few numbers kind of picked out for this one. So in searching for art, you can scroll down. So I found a couple here right off the bat. Anything from the art tab, any backgrounds, like under the art and under backgrounds, these are the only ones that if you bring them over and drag and drop them, they're going to apply directly to the page here. And let's see what this one does. I kind of like that one a little better, but I'm going to change my text to white there. Just do something kind of different. You can round the corners of squared objects that are there. All right, so I've got a background in. So this is just from under art in that. And there's some more that are in further down here. So those are just some that are there. Another way that you can change and work with your backgrounds here. If we go under the edit menu, we're going to come back to this change background menu that we talked about, or I referred to or mentioned right at the beginning. So this change background menu is going to allow you to work with your background here. So if you're coming in, you need to take a background out. The very bottom one, remove background. We'll just take that one right back out. At the very top, you'll have your left page, right page, left page and right page to deal with that background. Background color. This is what you'll use if you're looking just to do some solid colors here on the page. Now, the reason we're coming under here is if we're looking for some of the theme options that are here, we'll have to use this change background menu to get to some of the theme backgrounds. So I'm going to use choose image. Get a little window here. We're going to go under academics, and I'm going to go down to clip art. Scroll down here, you can see, and I'm actually going to go under by theme here. So we go under by theme here, there is a holiday folder. I'm going to skip through some of these, but we do have some different. So there's autumn, and then we come into our winter backgrounds that are here. So I can hit select. That gives them nice kind of background that it's there. Now another kind of cool thing about this menu is, well, it's kind of busy up at the top. Maybe I want to flip that. Maybe I want the design at the bottom, so we could use the menu, flip vertical, and now we've got that bold design kind of near at the bottom where it works well, and our text is out here. So from here, I mean, this would allow us to, maybe from here, we can now change the color on our stroke to something that kind of matches some of the other ones. I think I want to go, there we go, and do some things like that and kind of keep on working with it. That's there. But yeah, flip to rotate. Here I'm going to go back under, but there was just a lot of different, there's even a full kind of one with snowflakes that are there. So there's just some happy holiday ones that are there as well. Scroll through all the stuff here. I didn't know if there was more at the bottom of this fold. Oh yes, there was kind of this one. Just kind of had a neat kind of blue. That would have caused us to change our blues all up there. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to that one that we had. Is it this one? I think that was that one. Okay, I'm going to flip that back. So here we go. Just kind of wrap that up, and just to show you that regular backgrounds, you can pull up from the art tab, go under backgrounds. And we do have some, if you're using the change background menu, we do have some neat ones under holidays, under the theme stuff. So see, we got a few minutes here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up to any Q&A that is here. So if you want, feel free, if you want to unmute yourself, ask any questions, or if you want to just put your question in the little GoToMeeting chat stuff that's here, that's fine too, and I can just kind of keep an eye out on that. But yeah, if you have any questions, fire away. Okay, okay. Not really seeing anything come in. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'll do the kind of the ending part here. And if something then comes up here in the meantime, then I'll stick on and we'll go over it then. So really appreciate everyone sticking on today and going over on making our
Yeah.
building our candid page here.
Can,
Um,
can, sorry. Yeah. After you left, can I ask some other question?
yeah, I'll tell you what, let me get through. Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, if I go to portrait and then portrait, you put flow, but can I do two folder flow on one page? Is that possible?
Uh, yeah,
Portrait, if
it is.
you
Okay,
go
yeah, you're
inside,
going over stuff on last webinar. But yeah,
yes.
if you want to on that one on a separate note, yeah, it's working with two separate flow elements on the page. So at some point in time, you get to that point, you want to go over that, that would be real good to call into tech support, and we can help you on that
Okay.
one there.
Okay.
But
Sure. Thank
any
you.
questions? No problem. Any questions on today's material? All right. Well, appreciate it, everybody. Thank you for joining me this afternoon, and hopefully these demonstrations of the functions related to the creation of activity pages may help when it comes time to build your yearbook. Definitely make use of the templates that are already in the program, and building your own templates, if you have the opportunity, should save you some time and give the book continuity. Um, so really thank you everyone joining, and hope you have a happy holidays coming up for any of those if you're traveling or whatnot. But have any questions? We are here that last week. We are here for a little bit that last week for Christmas. So if you have questions, please give us a call at 1-877-302-3140, or send us an email at memorybooktechsupport@jostens.com. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.